Captain America Brave New World is premiering for some reason Valentine's Day. That being said, Kim does not want to see it because it's Valentine's Day. But I wanted to go and look back at the one that is the Empire Strike Back for the Captain America trilogy. It introduced us to the Falcon. It introduced us to the Winter Soldier. Also introduced us to Sharon Carter, Agent 13.
Yeah.
Brought back some old ones. Black Widow.
Nick Fury.
Also, you have the Ghost in the Machine. I'm forgetting his name right now.
You mean Crossbones?
No.
Armin Zola.
Zola, right. We saw him in the first one, and then we see him as we know him to be. Well, here it's on the computer screen, but in the comics is a body, like a humanoid body.
He becomes like an AI intelligence. Yeah.
Right. You also mentioned Crossbones, which was also introduced in this film. But
Yeah.
before he became Crossbones, or even though short-lived in Civil War.
I mean, they also introduced Badrock the Leaper.
Oh my God, yes, you're right. Oh, so many new characters in this movie, which was great. But with a Rotten Tomatoes score of 90% by the critics and 92% by the audience, I dare say that is too low of a score. Welcome back to Tales of Two Bros. My name is Angel.
I'm Adon.
Where we give you a review at least once a week. Spoiler alert. How did you watch it?
Disney Plus.
Yeah,
it's like the easiest place to go.
If you have it, why not? I mean, I have the Blu-ray. I think I have the 4K.
Yeah, but they stream it like in 4K, and
well, yeah,
it's. I say this for a lot of people out there. I don't know who doesn't have Disney Plus by now. You can go by character selection, and they just focus on only parts that this character has been in.
Right, like the Iron Man, and then you have Captain America, like all the movies that he's related in. Exactly. Yes. And they also have like chronological order, like so you want to see the Marvel universe, even not in release order, but
in like timeline order.
Right.
Yeah, which is actually really cool. I saw that.
And then they have the short stories, the one shots.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time you saw it?
Probably around the time Falcon and Winter Soldier first came out.
Oh, okay. Now, I don't know what's going to happen in the Brave World. We have some idea.
Yeah.
And Bucky, the Winter Soldier, he's going to have a movie, The Thunderbolts.
Yes.
This movie was so good that like in some theaters, they have a promotion, they give you posters.
Yeah.
Well, I got them. And that poster of this is just like, to me, top tier. It has that like throwback feel of the old films like Alfred Hitchcock or those spy films. And this movie is done in a way that it should be done, in a sense of spy, espionage, something that Black Widow was heavily missing.
Yeah, Black Widow, I think, suffered from what some people would call like MCU-itis, where it like tried to hit the MCU formula rather than being its own thing, where this felt more like its own thing, less of an MCU film.
So to me, that Black Widow is more like its own thing, and they just ignored how to do it.
So it's the opposite perspective for you. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm saying like you have the spy story because she was a spy. You have here she's a spy in this movie, as well as there was missions, military missions, and all that stuff. So I mean, I just love this movie, and I love the fact that it brought in a different uniform for Captain America while he's doing SHIELD missions.
Yeah, the stealth uniform. Yeah.
Well, it's not really a stealth uniform. It's more of the Commander Rogers uniform.
Well, right, but like I'm thinking of the toy line. In the toy line, they call it like the stealth outfit, where it's more dark and whatnot. Like in the SHIELD is different color.
Yeah, I don't know why. I was like, unless it have more vibranium, and they made another SHIELD.
No, I think they just painted it.
Yeah, they made it darker. Whereas like, because then in Civil War it's brighter.
Yeah,
it's like different tones. But yeah, I do love that simple. Granted, he's muscular, but it's a little padded here and there. But I just love that look, and I love that they able to give us a different look altogether. Mm-hmm. Except towards the end. At the end, he's wearing the first uniform he's wearing the uniform from the first movie.
Yeah,
Captain America, not the Avengers ones, which sucked.
No, but I follow you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the action here is awesome. It's kind of hard to figure out the best favorite point, if you will, which is really good because there's like 2 to 3 really good action scenes.
Yeah.
And this has a lot of, in my opinion, the Dark Knight similarities.
I can see that. Live as a hero long enough to be turned as a villain kind of situation.
But not just that, in the sense of like scenes. So we're jumping around here, guys. So bear with us. You have the music, right? You have his music of the Winter Soldier. Is his voice that you're hearing? Is him screaming? Is him screaming from the fall from the original Captain America, the first Avenger,
Oh,
where
I
he
didn't
falls
realize
off?
that.
Yeah, he when he falls off the train,
Uh-huh.
right? Is a tweak on that. And so when you hear him, when they introduce him, what have you, that song comes on. And then like in the Dark Knight, when you have like a long violin stroke playing, that introduces the Joker.
Yeah.
Also, when Batman is chasing the Joker and the Joker's like, come on, shoot me. That's also Tim Burton's Batman. But in this one, where he's on the bike and they're playing chicken,
Okay.
they're doing the same thing here. When we finally see the Winter Soldier facing Nick Fury,
Mhm.
he shoots the truck or the little grenade thing, and not truck, a SUV, and it flips over, and he just stands to the side. This is similar in the sense of Batman does it to the Joker's truck. He puts the cables, it hits the cables, and the truck flips over.
Yeah. You're right.
Right? Different perspective in the sense of hero doing to the villain, villain doing to the hero, but is very close.
Mhm.
Also, this is the Russo brothers' first Marvel film. They were known for doing multiple episodes directing of Arrested Development, which they did a phenomenal job. And then that movie led them to do Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame. I think that was it. I think they did 4 for Marvel.
I'm not fact checking.
Well, yeah, and they do like they put like their Easter eggs of Arrested Development in there.
Yeah.
Like in Civil War, there's a car vehicle. In Endgame, no, Infinity War, there's a blue person that's in reference to one of the scenes or storylines in Arrested Development. Here, I'm not sure if there is a moment. I know that one of the Russo brothers playing one of the doctors. He's
Yeah.
talking to Nick Fury. He says, "You have a collapsed lung." Blah blah blah. That's one of the brothers. But anyway, do you have a favorite moment?
There are several really, really good moments.
Way too
Most
much. Way too much.
the fight scenes are top tier.
Yes.
Introduction to Winter Soldier is one of the best introductions of a character, in my opinion. Like
Yes.
the Nick Fury chase scene, and all of a sudden he's out of nowhere and he's there in the shadow. You see Nick looking through through the windshield to see as he's
Mhm.
driving up on him. He's like he's a blur, and then he looks through and
Right.
he focuses. That's a really cool scene. And then he catches up to Nick Fury at Steve Rogers' apartment, and
Mhm.
Steve Rogers chases him down, and he catches the shield. Which
Yeah.
I remember they spoiled that in the trailer, but that's still a really
Yes.
good scene.
Yeah. Like some trailers, man, they give too much, and it shouldn't be. Like make him a mystery. Like for
Yeah,
comic book nerds, we know who he is. But like for
absolutely.
everyone else who just love the Marvel films and don't know about the comic books, you telling all that story and like him catching the shield, that's a big tell.
Yeah, because you see the arm and you see the star
Yeah.
on the arm.
Hmm.
I love it when they introduce a character to be a threat because you don't want a character
Right.
that's like a bad guy who's just a dime a dozen. You want a character that's gonna make your hero work. Highway chase scene where they just got the Hydra agent
Stillwell.
Stillwell, and they just got him, and
Yes.
he's
He's
in the
gone.
car. He's literally in the car, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna take you." And he's like, "That's my death sentence. You don't know what you're doing." Da, 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 da. And all of a sudden, gets yeeted through the window. Like they hear something on the roof, and then he gets
Right.
pulled through the window of his car door, and everybody's all the characters are like, "Whoa!" Like
And then
no one saw that
then
coming.
he gets thrown across the causeway, whatever, the highway, and the incoming truck hits him.
Yeah.
I was like, "So there are so many deaths in this film.
Oh yeah.
Is insane. Like Captain America kills people in this. Like you don't think
Yes.
he does, but he definitely does.
Absolutely.
Right?
Oh, in the first scene.
Oh my God, the savior. Yeah, I mean not the savior, but the boat saving
Yes.
scene.
I even said it to myself. I was watching it and I rewound it a couple times. I'm like, yo, he's taking out some pumped up aggression against these guys.
Well,
Because
listen,
like literally, he like kicked one guy so hard, not only did he hit the side of the rail, he probably broke his back, but flipped over. He just like taught
right?
eating guys off. And then when he
Or
fights Batroc, he's just like, let's go. Just takes off his helmet. He's like, he's got some aggression he's taking out. I understand why,
well,
but
also
still.
something that like I guess something to prove, but he doesn't really have to prove in that sense because he's super strong and he heals fast. But that rescue scene, which that again, that's one of the best scenes It's like there's like three top scenes that for me that for action is like too good, way too good. But this one, he lands all quiet, it's like quick. And I still don't get it from like how from the first one that he knows so much martial arts. I can understand boxing, but the martial arts aspect, like when did he learn it? They didn't go over that at all. He didn't meet no kung fu master. How did he know how to throw the shield correctly that it comes right back to him? But anyway, he's
That part
beating.
is explained in comics.
Yeah, but it'd be kind of cool to see a little bit in the in film
Yeah.
version.
Yeah. No,
But
because
here,
like
like,
they kind of explain in the comics, the formula enhances all aspects of the human being. Like he has like a almost photographic memory.
I
Yeah,
understand that, but the thing is, they don't show that or
they
give
ki-
any
they
kind of explanation.
they don't give an explanation. They kind of show it in the first Captain America. Like he looks at a map on a wall for one moment, and then like the next
Mhm.
scene, he's explaining everything he's witnessed.
No, I understand that,
Yeah,
but in the sense of fighting,
yeah. No,
the
I
aspect of fighting,
understand that.
like
Yeah,
the kung fu flips and all that, the boxing. I understand the boxing part because that's what he grew up on. But anyway, now his shoes, his boots, steel toe. They got to be steel toe. That's just a precaution that military have. He's kicking them in the face, steel toe.
yeah.
He's hitting people off, like you said, off the boat, hitting the rail, back, boom, boom. Now you have some guys falling off. How do they know they can swim?
No, at that
Sharks
height,
around.
falling from that height,
I'm just,
that's almost a death sentence for them too, because that's not like
but not
falling.
true.
Yeah,
And when he throws the shield at Batroc, there's a guy right there.
and he gets like
He's
stuck
not,
in. Yeah,
well, he gets stuck in the wall, goes right through the guy. We don't see the guy. We don't see that. We can imagine that it took the guy's head off, but we don't see that violent act. But we just know the guy was standing
yeah. No, every time I
and then he
see that
wasn't.
shield fly, I keep thinking of that line from Spider-Man from Civil War. That thing doesn't follow the laws of physics.
It doesn't. No, because it's like it's a boomerang
Well, it's
in
a
a circular
boomerang.
fashion.
It bounces, but then it stays hard enough that it can get stuck in metal or
Right.
concrete. Like so, like
It's like,
when does it bounce? When does it not?
yeah, I'm thinking like how intense he throws it,
Yeah,
or in the sense of maybe like his wrist, like when he has maybe when he throws, he like sometimes he just let it
yeah.
slide out, or he'll have a little spin to it.
But here,
I don't know.
but then
Again, they don't
yeah,
show it. They don't explain that little aspect. Like, how do you make that work?
they do all the stuff, but they don't explain it.
Right.
Yeah,
Like this is what you got to do to
yeah.
at
Because you
any
gotta remember,
time.
it's part vibranium. That
No, I
shield.
get it.
Yeah,
No, I get it, but I'm just saying, like, they don't even show even in the first film, like Bucky handling the shield, but he
yeah,
knows how to handle the shield easily. But we don't see any reference him toying around with it or Captain America trying to show him what he can do with this. Use that as a bonding scene. So
yeah.
there's no, but he knows how to use it off the bat. So I mean, again, makes no sense. And when I saw George St. Pierre the first time, I was ecstatic, and it made sense. It made total sense
Yeah.
because he's French. Batroc is French, so again, it makes sense. Well, he's French Canadian, George St. Pierre, but it made sense. Now, granted, his fighting style of Batroc in the comics is savate,
Mhm.
and they do it differently. Is the way they demonstrate it in the comic books is not savate. It's very like long. Bruce Lee used it. Like you can tell in Game of Death where the nunchuck scene,
Okay.
right before he breaks the neck, right? The guy is like empty-handed. He puts the nunchucks together. He fakes low. He kicks high, and then he grabs the guy's neck. That footwork, that kick, is savate, where you elongate yourself, right? And but anyway, but in here it's a little different too because George St. Pierre, his first martial arts experience is Kyokushin. It's the Japanese karate.
Yeah.
He does a great job here. It doesn't really matter. He does a great job fighting and stuff like that. And he's mainly doing kicks. But that little, I guess, geekness in me knows the difference. What about another scene that you like? Because I mean, to me, it was the intro of Winter Soldier. And then, well, not just Steve, but Natasha, the Falcon, all versus the Winter Soldier.
Oh, yeah,
Highway
the
scenes.
highway scene's fantastic. The elevator scene's really good.
Oh, and that's the first scene that he shot.
Yeah.
There's so many good scenes here. You can't really like, holy crap, how already like.
And
But
they're
what's kind of
good.
funny in
They're
that,
good not just for the action. Like a lot can be portrayed in an action scene, or leading into an action scene. So, like for example, that particular scene is good for the lead up, like how
yes,
people are start going in. He's watching the other people in the elevator. He's hearing what they're saying,
hmm
their mannerisms. So
but
it shows.
he's not really hearing what they're saying. but he's reading the room in the sense one guy has his hand on the gun.
Yeah,
Why would you have your hand on a gun? And the guy's sweating. And it's like, why would you sweat? And well, yes, in the sense of listening to what they're saying, because the thing is, they're like, hey, what's up?
it's like
They
very
known him.
mundane things, or like
Yeah,
they're
you would think
really
like,
playing up like I don't want to be seen kind of situation.
well, he's Captain America.
Hmm.
He's a freaking legend. No matter how many times you see him in the hallway or work with him, you should be pretty like, holy shit, that's Captain America. Guy's 100 years old and look how he looks. Like, shit, what should I get myself frozen? Like, things of that nature. And they're like, hey, hey, excuse me.
The
Oh.
way you describe it, like his ego is telling him that.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you would think that he would be more respected or admired.
Recognized. Yeah.
Well, they recognize him, but is like very nonchalant, like you're like just another person.
Yeah.
The scene is great, but I find it kind of funny too because it gets to a point, is real quick. It's like almost like one step sparring, like we've come to know and laugh at, where he hits one person and they falls back against a group of people, and they're taking their time to get up while he's fighting the other two people or three people.
Yeah.
But also what's great, like when he escapes, the Harley he's driving is one of the low end versions that they have, models that they have. I think it's like a 500 or 700 cc. It looks cool, but in the real world, that's more of a city bike. It doesn't really have not much pep. But I just find it funny that they use that. I mean, it's a cool looking bike, but in all seriousness, it will not outrun a vehicle. It will not outrun a car. It will not,
You wouldn't see it flying over a chopper.
well, I would fly. Yeah, of course, because he threw it. But I'm just saying, CC is like the size of the engine, 700, 500. That's like in a car, if you will, your first and second gear.
Yeah.
Okay. The 700 is like third gear. Now, the other bikes that we have, like, 1300 cc's, whatever, that's like fourth and fifth gear. In essence of that, for those who are not familiar with motorcycles, in that sense, like the power it can deliver. But anyway,
How about a good moment that's not action based? I have one in mind, but let's see
go
if
ahead.
you have one.
Go ahead.
Robert Redford meets Winter Soldier in his home.
Okay.
I like
Oh,
it.
and Robert, I'm sorry, Robert Redford. Oh my God. Oh,
He's a great actor, first of all.
no, of course he's a great actor, but I'm talking about, again, another Dark Knight reference. The Asian dude of the organization.
Ra's al Ghul.
No, the Asian dude of the organization, in that where he's talking to Robert Redford's talking to all those guys from different areas, the woman, the three guys in the hologram.
Oh, the ones in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D., yeah.
Are they in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
They're not the bosses of S.H.I.E.L.D., but they're like the supervisory committee.
Okay, whatever. So the Asian dude,
Mm-hmm.
he's in the Dark Knight. Bruce Wayne goes to Hong Kong to get him. The whole scene where he's on top of the roof and he shoots the things before the windows can blow up.
Okay.
And he brings them back to Gotham. And he took all the money from the crime syndicates.
Yeah.
He's in this. Again, recycling actors, but again, that's another tie-in to the Dark Knight.
Okay.
I can't remember his name right now. He plays a lot of bad guys. Typecasting, I guess. Yeah, I'm sorry, I cut you off, but what?
Yeah, I like the scene where Robert
Redford
and
yes.
Winter Soldier is sitting in the kitchen with the lights out. And
Yeah.
he doesn't say a word. This is before Robert Redford's character is officially outed.
Well, we kind of know in that scene.
We suspect it.
No, we know it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying, like, he doesn't freak out. He doesn't scream. He doesn't go call for help. And then he tells them what he needs to be done.
Would Nick Fury do the same thing? I mean, like, Nick Fury's a very calm guy no matter what the situation. He's on Nick Fury's level as far as spy agency.
Well, yeah, they went up together, right?
Yeah, but then he starts talking to the alluding to the overall big plan and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then his maid comes in and they goes, man, I wish you had rang the doorbell or something like that. Knocked. And then he grabs Winter Soldier's firearm and Winter Soldier just sits there. So you could tell this guy is the boss. He's the one in charge.
Right. So he's Hydra. But now, like, you also have here questions being answered or lead up to another movie, because you have here, like, when Nick Fury and Captain come together and are talking, and Nick Fury says, last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye. And that's explained later in Captain Marvel, which is a stupid reason why he lost an eye. In all honesty, it's a weak version of why he lost an eye, because it alludes to something more major.
When I first saw that scene, I was reading the Ultimate comics around that time frame, which is where they introduced, Nick Fury, Samuel Jackson's version.
Right.
I could be wrong, but if memory serves correct, he lost an eye because he was partly training Logan in the military back in the day.
I think
And
that's right.
and Nick Fury was the first official in the Ultimates version. He was the first official super soldier. Then it was Steve Rogers. But
Mhm.
it was Wolverine that caused him to lose that eye. That's why his eye had a scar that looked more like Claude
Mhm.
than anything else. But yeah, they totally revised that stuff here for here.
No, that's a great scene. I liked when the Black Widow reveals herself. It's
It's a
just
good scene. It's a
it's a
good
good
scene.
scene, but the thing is, you pay attention and you hear her grunts, you hear her voice, so it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Scene with no action. Let me see.
A few moments later.
On your left in the beginning.
It sets a tone. It sets up, sets the bar.
Mhm.
The interaction between the characters. Yeah, I can see that.
Right. And then it leads to like him writing down stuff to check up on, to catch up to modern day, to modern
Hmm.
times. And you know that they had it for different countries that they were showing this, they had different lists.
Yes. Hmm.
Also, it's funny that when we meet Sam Wilson in that, his sweatshirt is bulky, like he's wearing a bodysuit under that for some reason.
Hmm.
So, and I also like that scene because when I was able to run, when my hip was in better shape, I was running, I was wearing a Captain America tank top. And guess what I said to a guy who was in front of me?
On your left.
On your left.
Mm.
I thought, after I said it, I was like, holy shit, I actually said the same line as I'm running past the guy. That was weird. But no, that's a good scene because again, it sets things up. You're introduced to Sam Wilson.
I mean, the Armin Zola scene, granted, is a lot of exposition, but it's actually a
That's a
good
really good
tie-in.
one. That is a good one too. Yes.
Hmm.
It really makes sense in the sense of how things happen and things stayed intact and how they were able to be reborn in that aspect.
Yep.
And he goes, I've been stalling. This movie is so fucking good. This movie is so good in so many levels. I don't know if anyone could enjoy this if they weren't comic book fans. I don't know. In the spy thing, sure, that aspect. If you like James Bond, you should like this,
Yeah.
in my opinion. What about bad scenes or scenes that are like,
You could argue that the mall scene was probably like not that great of a scene.
yes, 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 yes. That was dead space. It was needed in the sense of what they needed to do.
Yeah.
But you're right in the sense that that salesman or the not the
like
salesman, but the cloud guy, whatever they have the name for. I forgot the name.
he's a customer service guy. He's the
Right.
IP. He's the Apple customer service guy. He's like, you've been wronged or something like that. I'm just throwing his name out there. Like I don't
Yeah.
know his name.
They could have done that anywhere. They could have found out anywhere. They could have gone to a library. They could have gone anywhere.
Hmm. And then
Yeah.
and the whole I mean, I get the kiss scene. It wasn't really necessary.
But that's all in the
It-
mall.
Yeah, it's all the mall part.
And I talk afterwards in the car. But I love that Sharon Carter was in this, even though it may not be the original Sharon Carter,
Yeah.
or she could be a double agent because we don't know yet. We don't know if she's a Skull because in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we see her.
Are you talking about Sharon Carter or Peggy Carter?
I'm talking about Sharon, Agent 13.
Yeah.
So in Falcon and Winter Soldier, we see her at the end, like she's talking to someone about this. She's like, I'm in, we're good to go.
Mhm.
So we see an old Peggy Carter before her deathbed that she suffered from Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And there's a thing like, is the person, the old Steve Rogers, holding the casket at the end with the gray hair? And while she's seeing him here, I don't think he ever meets the husband. It's not in.
No, I think the husband's already passed away by that point.
No. He's there. He's walking the coffin, bringing the coffin in. And there's like, you see
Oh.
a guy, an old man you see a guy with gray hair like that in the back, like he's covered his face. And then at the end of Endgame, we see him, old Cap, the gray hair.
Yeah.
Thin. This is also great about these movies, especially the Russo brothers, how they tie in certain things. And then, it's a conspiracy theory that could be him.
True,
I
but
don't know.
if Karen was a spy above all else, and she would always
Karen.
I mean, not Karen. I think I went off of what you said.
Sharon.
Carter, Sharon, but Peggy is what I'm trying to say. Peggy Carter was a spy amongst all else. If it meant sacrificing certain moments for the greater good, she was that spy that you want to do that. Here's my theory about that, because I was watching a video the other day, and I forget. I'm sorry, I can't quote what YouTube channel had this, but they were explaining the Mobius strip from Endgame.
Right. If you cut it.
Yeah, and basically that's
awesome.
why the TVA didn't do anything, because it was
Right.
meant to happen, and basically
Right.
they were causing a loop and they were just expanding the timeline rather than separating the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So if Peggy knew, hey, my Steve did come back to me, and that's my current husband, and maybe she does have a like dementia, or whether she remembers or not, she would still play up the part like, hey, I'm seeing young Steve for the first time.
Well, yeah, because she turned her head and come back. Maybe, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like Peggy would be that person that no matter what will keep that role.
Okay.
In order for like, because I imagine he would be like, no one can know I came back for you kind of situation.
Right. Well, yeah. And he's never there. He wasn't there when Steve was visiting.
Exactly. And he would know because he was there.
And we don't see no pictures. We see pictures, but not of him.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, we'll never know, right? We'll never truly know.
Unless someone says like, I planned it all along.
Right. What about weak scenes? Yeah, we did, right?
Yeah. Not many. It's a very strong film for the most part.
This is, I guess you can find some weak points, but yes, the mall scene was very, they could have done that anywhere. You could have done that anywhere. You know, you could have got on a laptop somewhere and then on the road do it and then toss the laptop out. You could have done that. Oh, you have another cameo, the guy from Community, the Indian dude, Mythic Quest.
Okay.
You know what? They directed a few episodes of Community because I remember now because they have in Endgame when Tony goes back, they get the Pym particles.
Mm-hmm.
There's a black girl in the elevator with him. She's from Community. Okay. So they must have done some shows in that too. So that makes sense now. Okay. Or they created Community, one of the two. The last scene was okay. The last fight scene, in my opinion, was in comparison to what we had prior to that.
Yeah. And here's the funny thing. I feel like that's a lot with a lot of MCU movies. Like everything leads up.
Lackluster. Yeah, it's like lackluster.
It like the final moments are always not as good as what led up to it. Which is ironically, a lot of the Marvel comics are like that. Like you'll read a lot of the Marvel comics storylines and they're like fire storylines. They're just really good. And then they wrap everything up clean, fast, in a hurry. And you don't really have a solid ending, as it were.
Right, but then that's different in Infinity War and Endgame.
Yes.
So you left on a cliffhanger. Great fight scenes, though, led to that in Infinity War. And then in Endgame, the whole fight scenes at the end, everyone's like cheering, excited, like, yes! That last scene, too, was a little long. Also, the action scene with the Hellcarrier. But my God, it's still so good. It's still so good. It's very Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi because you have several scenes going on at once.
We've talked about this with other MCU movies where the scenes are a little bit flooded. Like either there's too much action or too much CGI. You kind of lose your focus a little.
No, but I'm saying though, you have Cap and Winter Soldier fighting. You have Falcon fighting the Hydra soldiers. You have Scarlet Witch with
Scarlet Witch?
Black Widow, excuse me. The Black Widow with Alex Pierce, that they're all there. So there's like three things going on. And that was very Return of the Jedi. There was three things going on. You have the battle with Luke and Darth and Palpatine. You have Lando trying to blow up the Death Star. You have Han and Leia and Chewie trying to dismantle the base in Endor so the shields can come down for the Death Star. So you have three stories going on there, and you have like multiple stories going on here, which was, again, maybe long, but it actually is very damn good. Anything else?
No, good. This is a solid film, I think.
Way of a solid film. So back on Rotten Tomatoes, score by the critics is 90%, by the audience, 92%. Now, granted, audience over 250,000, critics over 308. So where do you find it at? I think you know where my score is.
I would say like it's 93, if not 94%. It's one of the best, if not best, Marvel movie there is.
It's definitely the best Captain America film, in my opinion.
Yes.
Civil War is great, but there's some issues there I find, of course they introduced new characters as well, but it's just, it doesn't hold up as different. I mean, the fight scenes with him and the knife dropping, catching, and then I would say this. This is a great movie to show that MCU doesn't need to double down on the humor in order to have a great film and be for everybody. This is a very serious film with sprinkles of humor, and it's done very well. Well, yeah, it kept that tension with some levity, but that tension was still there. But here's the thing. Now, the shield, like he was using it as part of his weaponry to fight.
Mhm.
He did this with Batroc and Winter Soldier, that he will hit the leg.
Yeah.
Why not the leg get cut off?
Again, defies the laws of physics.
You hit the leg, you will think you'll cut off the leg or break the bones,
At the very least, it should break.
right? He
Because
doesn't, but
he's not hitting with the blunt side, he's hitting with the edge.
correct.
And as hard as that's hitting, even if he's not doing much, say Batroc's the one kicking,
Yeah.
that edge is hard enough that it would. And I understand there, like you could say the physics is absorbs the impact, so it's not as much. But like again, it defies the laws of physics. You know,
Right. But you know what I'm saying?
absorbs
That's like that
sometimes and doesn't others.
I mean, I understand that he, he hits the arm of Bucky, Winter Soldier. It doesn't break. I understand that because it has his own. Is that vibranium as well? Is that what kind of metal was that?
It's like
was
a
that the,
composite metal. I don't think they had a hold of vibranium, but it's their own formula.
is the comics have it as
I think the comics it's not
Wolverine's?
carbonadium, but
carbonadium?
yeah, that's a thing in the comics.
No, I'm talking about Wolverine's antimanium.
Adamantium?
Adamantium, yes. Was it that you think?
No, it wasn't. So in the comics, it's like adamantium is for some other characters. They do have it, but it's a type of metal that's closer to Colossus's material. So it's super. It's closer, yes.
Okay.
So it's less strong than say vibranium or carbonadium and whatnot, but it's stronger than like your standard steel and stuff like that.
But shouldn't that then arm be broken? Because Steve hit it.
Yeah, but
during the knife fight scene.
So as strong
with the shield.
So here's the thing. Technically, Steve Rogers' strength is supposed to be the strongest, like Olympian strength. Although that gets thrown out the water in Civil War because he's holding a helicopter, and that's not supposed to be physically possible. But still,
like, he's stronger than the average human. Olympian.
Yeah. So like, it's a composite of like, think of like a snake. Think of a python, right? It has scales and it can constrict. His arm is made of not just solid metal; it's like scaled metal. So it actually compresses and restricts at multiple times as he's fighting. And so like when it tightens up, it becomes more of a shield kind of situation.
Okay.
You can actually see it in the fights, like the metal flexes and adjusts like scales. It's actually kind of cool when you think about the science of it. But anyways, in the comics, his metal for his arm up until like say Endgame, it's a metal that's stronger to steel, but not as strong as those other metals. It's just a experimental metal that they just thought was good, but not good enough.
Okay. I mean, if that was the case, the arm should have been broken or ripped right off once Cap hit him with the shield. It should have. But okay, you say so. All right. So those who are listening, watching, let us know in the comments. I'm a Captain America fan, but I don't remember so much in the books.
Hey, I am always up for more knowledge. So if you guys want to educate me, type it out. I'll read it.
Definitely worth the own. Definitely worth the watch.
Yeah, I would say that. 100%.
You know, with our scoring, yes. Now, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with the Brave New World. You know, you had the Red Hulk. That spoiler came out. I love that they changed the suit color scheme because I hated it in the series. The white. It made no sense, but I can understand it. A new Falcon is introduced, even though we meet him in the series. When are you going to see it?
Probably that weekend.
All right, I'm going to try to see it Thursday early, like at 3.
If they have it available for me, sure. I'll go watch it that Thursday.
All right, guys, that is our marvelous review of Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Have you seen it? What is your favorite moment? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Until next time, will be the next time. I'm Angel.
I'm Adon.
Love you, bro.
On your left.
On your left.